Communication is a key part of every relationship. Without it, there is none, really. It is important to listen to the people who are important to you. It is vital that what is important to them is acknowledged, and this ensures that ensures that both parties feel secure in the relationship. I find it hard to have great listening and communication skills, mainly because I am so busy that I'm always thinking about what I have planned next, what's my next responsibility to do. And so I find myself sitting at the dinner table listening to my children talk and not really listening or communicating with them. I'm hearing them, yes, but I'm not communicating. Let me paint you a picture. I wake up 5 o'clock every morning. I make school lunches, get myself and kids ready for school, walk the dog, feed kids breakfast, drive children to school, go to work, get off work, pick up kids from daycare or the bus, go home, start dinner, do a load of laundry, help the kids with homework, feed the kids dinner, give them a bath, read them a book, play with them, then go to bed. Then repeat. Does that sound familiar? Maybe you struggle with this too, always feeling like you're in overdrive. How can you be a good communicator and listener if your mind feels like it's always processing what's coming up next? And it can cause some difficulties in your life. One being at work can cause tension and overall financial stress. Another thing it can cause is children can find it difficult to talk to you and fall into bad habits. And your relationships can fail with your family and your friends and your spouses. Let's touch base on being at work and how it can affect you. Communication plays a very important role in team building and extracting the best out of team members. According to the Management Study Guide, tensions and financial stress can occur from miscommunication or lack thereof. When colleagues begin to feel reticent about sharing information, or the manager does not obtain the information needed to fulfill his role, the team struggles. It can also then become frustrating and stressful for the team and management. This brings morale down and then changes the tone of the workspace. It is vital that management keeps an open line of communication with staff and vice versa to prevent this from really happening. Another thing I touch base on is your relationship with children. It can be their own self-destruction from having poor relationship communication with their parents. Not communicating properly or failing to communicate enough with your children can cause you bond with your child to diminish, says the article, The Effects of Poor Communication from the website oureverydaylife.com. Without having regular open channels of communication with parents, children can feel as though they are lacking guidance and support in their lives, which can lead them to then developing self-esteem issues and not having a sense of direction or purpose in life. Studies have found that children living in a single-parent household or step-families display negative health outcomes when compared to those living with both biological parents, specifically girls. In an article, The Association Between Adolescence Life and Satisfaction, Family Structure, Family Influence, and Gender Differences in Parent and Child Communication, it provides a model, and that model provides the statistics and polls that show that girls are more affected than boys by this miscommunication in their families. And then those issues with your spouse and your friends. 1 in 5 marriages have failed because of poor communication. Women feel like men only talk about themselves, and then men don't believe their wives listen enough. There are differences in how men and women communicate. Conveying words, facial expressions, hand gestures, and effectively can destroy home relationships, really. Poor communication can create a sense of dissatisfaction, confusion, restlessness, and fear between partners. It can also lead both partners to wonder if the other person is being faithful or whether he or she might have found someone else. Nobody wants to feel like this in a relationship. However, misunderstandings due to communication can cause mishaps in a relationship. Included in the website Our Everyday Life, the article The Effect of Poor Communication discusses how poor communication can cause issue in marriages. It says failing to communicate on a regular basis, at the very least, can cause people in a communicate relationship to feel less connected to one another. It is not as important for married people to always agree with one another, but what is important is that they hear themselves clearly and try to his best to listen deeply and understand the other person. So how can we implement some effective communication to prevent these issues from happening in our lives or to fix these issues? We can first learn to listen, not just hear, but listen. During conversations, make sure you're completely involved in that conversation. Make eye contact, use appropriate body language, and encouraging nod or sympathetic head. Give your child or coworker or spouse the opportunity to talk without interruption when they have finished. Reflect what you have heard, advise, and that's what therapist Isadora Allman advises. This shows that you've really listened and value what people had to say. Practice structured dialogue. Using structured dialogue can improve your relationship, says behavioral analysis Stephanie Mitchell in her article, Communication Boosters, Relationship Improvement Exercises. Aim to have the conversation for about 15 to 30 minutes on a topic that inspires a verbal exchange of experiences, such as the greatest passions or your favorite holiday destinations. Listen to what your peer has to say, confirm that you may understand them, and then share your own experiences and emotions in relation to the topic. Then back up your actions. Back up your words with actions. Telling someone they can always count on you means nothing unless you can actually prove this to be the case. When spouses or friends know what to expect from you, trust is so much easier to establish and preserve, says Michelle. For example, by telling your coworker, I will take you to work in the morning, and then turning up every morning to take them, you're building trust. Your friend will know she can trust your words because you have communicated it through your actions. Face up to conflict. Arguments between friends can be healthy. It provides a way to deal with things in the right way. Bickering, getting defensive, and avoiding this issue entirely is not healthy ways to deal with conflict, though. Psychologist Susan Haitler, in the Psychology Today article, What Makes Conflict?, talking about the problem with colleagues or friends is the only way to reach a resolution. Both parties need to agree that a conflict exists before taking turns to suggest ways to deal with those issues. Explore the pros and cons of each suggestion and reach a compromise. If both of your concerns are addressed, neither will feel shortchanged, and the effect resolution will strengthen the existing bond. So, that's why communication is a key component in all relationships, and that's how to implement it into yours. Listening to what a loved one has to say is the only way to get to know them. It is the only way to build a relationship. Knowing what one likes and dislikes provides opportunities to learn about each other. If someone is hurt or is sad, it's important to be there for them and listen, verify their feelings, and let them know you are there for them when they need you. If your child wants to share an idea or tell an important event at a school, that day is as important, and stop and listen to them. It is to ensure your child feels secure at home and able to express themselves in a safe environment and feelings in a healthy way. The skills of listening and communicating can help preserve relationships.